Yeah, but I already told you that I don't like pineapple on my pizza, and so if you don't get it together, I'm gonna call your manager and what's that? Oh, I'm doing advisory? Oh, I'm not actually talking on the phone? This is not a phone, it's a computer mouse? Okay. Well, I love you, Mom. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hey there, folks. Sorry about that. Just finishing up some business. How you doing? Welcome to Advisory. Hope you're doing well. Today we're going to jump right into it and talk about comfort zones, specifically how to get out of our comfort zone. The comfort zone is where you feel most comfortable. This is where it's nice and safe and all of the things you know are here. This is where you have your close friends or a friend group that you've been hanging out with for a long time. People that you know and you trust. It feels natural being with these people. You also have shows, movies, and music you like. Any sort of things that you're into or interested in. The stuff that you like to watch, the stuff that you like to listen to, the stuff that you go back to. Maybe some of the shows or the movies that you rewatch over and over again. The place you live or your room can often be a physical comfort zone where everything else gets shut out and you can go there to truly be yourself and feel comfortable. Maybe you're comfortable going to the same places over and over. These are places that you know like the back of your hand. Maybe even a place that you go where people know your name. Your daily habits are also in your comfort zone. What you do day to day, your behaviors throughout the day, the things that you say, the things that you do, the routine that you have for yourself before school, after school, and the things that you find yourself doing every day are these daily habits that are in your comfort zone. The activities and hobbies that you are into, any interests or activities, the things that you do in school, the things that you do out of school, these are all things that are in your comfort zone. These can be things that you've done for a really long time that you're used to doing, or something that you're really good at doing. The things you know how to do, the things that you're most confident with, these are the things that are so easy for you that you don't even feel like you have to put forth an effort because you've mastered it. And these are just some of the things that make up our comfort zones. This is the nice, comfortable place that you surround yourself with the things and the people and the activities that you're familiar with. And it feels nice in here. And it's good to have a comfort zone like this. So if this is our comfort zone, what are the things that are outside of our comfort zone? Well, we can use these same examples. Instead of your close-knit friends and friend group, outside of your comfort zone are meeting new people. There are unknown music, TV, and movies out there that you're not comfortable with, that you don't know much about. Instead of places that you know around your neighborhood or places that you go very often, it's new places, places you've never been. And this can be as far away as another country or as close as a grocery store you haven't tried out yet. Instead of the normal activities and hobbies, there are new interests that are out there. There's all sorts of things out there that you haven't tried yet that you may be interested in outside of your normal activities and hobbies. Instead of the mastered skills, it's the stuff that you're not good at yet. It can feel really easy to just do the things that we are good at over and over and over again. And it's much more difficult to feel confident in going out and doing things that we're not good at or that we're new to. Outside of our daily habits could possibly be new, maybe healthier habits or routines. And then outside of your house or your room are strange houses, maybe people's houses that you go to, or maybe a new house that you move to, or a new apartment that you move into. Those are all outside of our normal comfort zones of what we know. So, why is this all important? Why would we need to get out of our comfort zones? Why do we want to sometimes stray away from the things that we are most comfortable with into this zone with new things, people, and experiences? And there's lots of reasons why. When you get out of your comfort zone, you have new experiences and you meet new people, both of which you might just like. You don't know if you'll like a new experience, and you don't know if you'll get along with a new person until you actually try. Look at this example from this TED speaker who tried something that she had never tried before.
It's a cold and foggy winter morning, and I'm standing on the world's tallest bungee platform. The platform I'm standing on is so tiny that I have to stand on my toes and balance myself against the wind. The operator ties one end of the bungee cord to my ankle. I look down. All the buildings and roads are buried in heavy fog. There is only one voice in my head. I can't do this. So I turn around and tell them that I want to quit. And then I see a huge quote printed on the glass window right next to me. Life begins at the edge of your comfort zone. I don't know why, but this short yet powerful sentence gives me the final push, and before I realize it, I walk straight back to the platform and jump off the world's highest bungee platform. During the 5 seconds of free fall, I remember thinking to myself, it's not as scary as it looks. And that thought led to a whole new world. Every time I hear the voice of fear in my head, I can't leave this job because I'm not going to find anything better. I'm scared of entering a new relationship because I don't want to be hurt again. And even a minute ago, before I walked onto the stage, the voice was repeating in my head. Every time I hear that voice, I take a deep breath and tell myself, it's never as scary as it looks.
Are you sure about that? Because that looks pretty scary to me. Are you sure those buckles are tied on tight there? Do we trust this guy right here? Do we think that he's done a good job? He's wearing Vans with no socks, so I don't know if we can trust him. I mean, imagine being right here in this moment.
I feel like my heart is in my throat just thinking about it.
But at that moment, she was thinking, oh, this is not as scary as it looks. I think it would be about right here that I would be peeing my pants. And I've never been bungee jumping, but I do understand the feeling that she's talking about. Have you ever been to Six Flags? I used to love going to Six Flags when I was a kid. I grew up going there. And when I was a lot younger, I really liked going on the easy rides, things like the mine train or the spinning hat. It was a nice, easy time, a little bit of thrill, and I could go home unscathed. But there was one year that my parents were trying to encourage me to get out of my comfort zone and ride a bigger ride. This was probably when I was about 9 or 10, when I first started to get tall enough to ride the bigger rides, and my parents introduced me to the Shockwave. The double loops of the Shockwave always freaked me out. My parents were trying to encourage me to go on it, and I said,
Nice try. No, thank you.
I took one look at that and said,
Ain't no way I am going on that thing and going upside down twice. You're telling me you want me to be upside down like these people here?
and my dad was like, no, the centrifugal force will hold you in. And I said,
I don't know what that means. I'm 9 years old, buddy. You guys have fun and I'll catch you after you get off.
I'm being silly about it now, but I was upset. I was actually crying. I was so anxious about going on this ride because of those double loops. But my parents finally convinced me to ride it. And after I got off of the ride, all I wanted to do was go again. Because as the speaker just said, it is never as scary as it looks. And as in the case with this roller coaster and several others that I tried after that, it's often more fun or more rewarding than we think it's going to be. Another thing that happens when you get out of your comfort zone is you learn how to do new things. Think of something that you're really good at right now. Now think back to when you were not good at that thing. Do you remember what that felt like and how you got over that? That's what happens when we get out of our comfort zone, is we learn how to do new stuff. You can get good at things that you never thought that you could be good at. When you get out of your comfort zone, you learn about yourself. You learn about your personal limits, and you learn that you can probably do a lot more than you thought you could. Another fun byproduct of getting outside of your comfort zone is that quite often others will look up to your example and maybe even join you. If you have the bravery and the vulnerability to get outside of your comfort zone, other people will see you do that, see that it's not as scary as it looked, and they will be encouraged to be brave and vulnerable as well. And here's a great example of that. We've got this big party where a DJ is playing music and people are getting ready to see the artist Mos Def. Everybody's in this courtyard. They've got their blankets. They're all seated except for one guy. I don't know who this champion is, but I already dig his vibe. He looks like he could be a long-lost brother of mine. But check this out. He is by himself, dancing alone, but in front of dozens of people that are all seated and all can see him. And you'll start to notice people in the crowd noticing. He doesn't have the best moves, but he is vibing, and people start talking about him. See if you can spot any of the crowd's reactions to him. Look at these ladies in particular right here. They're smiling, they're laughing. Maybe they're laughing at him a little bit because it's kind of silly to see a guy dancing like this just by himself. You see them kind of grooving along, though. You see them start to do a little bit of the dance that he's doing or try to imitate him. Even if they're making fun of him a little bit, they're still paying attention, aren't they? And after 40 minutes of the guy dancing by himself, just vibing, unbothered, in his lane, thriving, look what eventually happens. Yeah, now we got a party. You see that a few more people have joined. They saw his example and they thought, you know what? That looks fun. I want to do that. Well, he's up there doing it, and so I won't be alone if I get up there and do it. And then this domino effect happens where the more people are vulnerable and the more people that get out of the comfort zone of their cozy little spot on the lawn and they get up to dance, they have more fun. They build more community. They're smiling. It's a good time. Also, you remember these girls? The ones that were looking at him before, maybe making fun of him a little bit, but not joining in? Look what happens. My guy. Now that is Riz. He goes over there and he encourages them directly to be brave and come join the party and come dance. And look at them. They're having a great time. They're having way more fun than they were having before. And it's all because they got out of their comfort zone, because they were encouraged to do so by this man's example and the rest of the people that joined him. And because this attitude is contagious, because this vulnerability and this bravery is contagious, this party goes from one guy dancing to everyone. It's a good time, and it all started with one man getting out of his comfort zone. And the last thing that happens when you get out of your comfort zone is that your vulnerability could open you up to better connections, whether it's on the dance floor or whether it's in much more personal connections like family or close friends. Take another listen to that TED Talk speaker as she discusses how being vulnerable opened her up to new connections with her parents.
The last story is about vulnerability, and the last story is about me. My love for my parents is the strongest emotion in my life. But in Asian culture, love is seldom expressed in words. It makes me feel extremely uncomfortable to tell them I love you or to even share my feelings with them. Our daily conversation is a combination of what I had for lunch and what they had for dinner. I don't know why I have the courage to stand here today and share my story with you, but I don't have the courage to tell my parents I love you. They raised me with love, so much love. They made me believe I'm worthy of love, not because of what I achieve, but because of who I am. Yet I so desperately want to be this perfect child for them. I share my happiness and achievements and withhold my struggles and failures. I didn't know that this created a huge emotional gap between us, and we no longer share the joy and pain of each other's life journey. I've been experiencing a tough time recently, a heartbroken ending of a 3-year relationship, many questions about friendship, and deep insecurity about future. A couple of weeks ago, I came back from an exhausting recruiting trip from New York. The moment I walked in my room in darkness, I experienced an emotional breakdown. I called my mom and burst into tears the moment I heard her voice. And for the next hour, and the first time in my life, I shared my struggles with her. And even though she hasn't been with me in this journey for so long, she understands exactly what I've been going through. The feeling of reconnection after so many years is like magic. In the end, I told her I love you. And she said, I love you too. It's the first time, remember, either of us has said that. I didn't expect what felt so uncomfortable previously came so natural and peacefully in the end. I see life as a constant fight against your comfort zone. You push it, it pushes back. What's the fear that's holding you back? What are you not saying or doing because it's outside your comfort zone? I challenge you to find that comfort zone today. Bravely step out of it. And as you get comfortable again, push it even further. Don't try to get rid of fear. Accept that you will be afraid, and then go do it anyway. As the word said, high on the bungee platform, life begins at the edge of your comfort zone. Thank you.
Stepping out of her comfort zone led to a new connection with her mother that they had never experienced before. And now the relationship is deeper and more loving than it ever was before. It is super scary going outside of your comfort zone. We often feel very, very vulnerable when we are outside of our comfort zones, but that vulnerability can lead to all sorts of new things. There are some discussion questions on the next slide for you and your advisory class to think about what our comfort zone looks like, what it looks like to get out of our comfort zone, and what could happen if we are brave enough to do so. Enjoy that discussion, be good to yourself and others, and I'll see you real soon.